Whatever you read.
You got a raise for that?
Where's Mr. Price?
He'll be here shortly.
Okay. So we'll, should we keep it open?
Yes,
Yeah, I'll keep it open. Unless
Yeah.
it's-
You guys ready?
Yeah.
All right, everybody, can we please stand? We're going to open the meeting. Let's say the pledge of allegiance.
I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much.
Larry. Hey, Larry. Hey, how are you? Good.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the January 8th, 2024 meeting of the Zoning Board of Appeals, or ZBA. First, let me introduce the members of the ZBA present here this evening. Myself, Chairman Alan Donnelly. Vice Chairman, Mr. Carl Hinger, is here with us this night. Our Secretary, Ms. Janet LaForgia, is here with us this evening. Regular Member, Commissioner, Mr. Richard Briggs, should be here very shortly. Regular Member, Commissioner, Mr. Elijah Hurwin, is here with us this evening. And Alternate Member, Commissioner, Mr. Larry Rushmeyer, is with us this evening. Mr. Fran Lawley is going to be bebopping in and out this evening. He was here earlier, but he's going to bebop in and out. And absent this evening is our recording secretary, Ms. Cassandra Varian. All right, the current event agenda can be found here at the table or on the town website under board meetings. When we begin the public hearing, I will call each applicant one at a time. When I call a property address, please come forward, state your name and address for the record, and tell us about your appeal in detail. After, the secretary will read into the record any communications we received in favor or opposed to the application. The chair will then entertain questions of clarification from board members concerning the application. We will then hear from those who wish to speak in favor of the application, followed by those who are opposed. Following each side of the question, the applicant will be allowed to make concluding remarks. After we've gone through all the cases on the agenda tonight, we will close the public portion of the meeting and we'll deliberate an open executive session. You must have at least 4 affirmative votes to have your appeal granted. The final decision may be in the form of approved as submitted, approved with stipulations, or disapproved. All questions and comments must be directed through the chair. Please be assured that everyone will be given the opportunity to speak. However, the board is most interested in hearing factual information relative to the application, and in view of time constraints placed upon us, we ask your indulgence in not reiterating comments previously presented. You are welcome to stay to the end of the meeting or contact the land use office in the morning. Thank you very much. Okay, first thing on the agenda is the review of the November 6, 2023 minutes of the meeting. I'll take a motion to approve the minutes.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? I had one tiny thing, but real tiny.
I'm good.
Madam Secretary?
Oh, I don't find any, what was the question, Chairman? I'm sorry.
The November 6, 2023 minutes. Do you have any amendments or anything that needs tweaking at all on that?
No.
Okay. I had one little thing on line 69. I didn't see the hardships on there. And I know the hardships were the steep topography.
Well, the hardships on 65.
65? Which one do you have? Commissioner agrees with the hardship topography?
Topography.
All right, we also said septic on that. Remember?
We can-
This hardship was the topography and the septic. So I'd like to amend that if possible. Just add septic. All right?
Sounds good to me.
Okay. Can I have a motion then?
Yeah. Motion to approve the minutes as amended.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, moving on, public hearings. So we're going to start with our first public hearing this evening. It is Z-23-65. That is Dominic Ferenz residence. I hope I said your name right, sir.
Yep.
And that is for to build a shed. And that is required dimension of 50 feet, proposed dimension of 10. So you're looking for a variance of 40 feet. And that is zoning regulation 3.5. Could the owner please come forward, state your name and address for the record?
Just a point of order, we voted to seat.
He needs
Yes.
to be seated, doesn't he?
Move to seat Mr. Larry Rushmeyer.
We don't need to vote.
Oh.
You just choose.
There, you're seated, sir. Thank you. Thanks, Kyle. Okay. Please come forward, state your name and address for the record, and tell us about your appeal in detail, sir.
So it's Dominic Ferenz, 28 Wisconsin Road.
Welcome to the zoning board of appeals, Mr.
Thank
Franz.
you. I was just looking to put a shed. There's already a pre-existing slab type structure there, so I was just hoping to put something right on top of it since it's already there. I can't really go into the property more because it'd be kind of the center. It's a very narrow property, so to get the 50-foot clearance would kind of put it almost center of the property. And there's septic there. I didn't think of that. And yeah.
That's it? Anything else, sir?
Not to my knowledge.
All right. Thank you very, very much. Madam Secretary, is there any, and we didn't have any correspondence, is there anything
No.
from last night?
No,
No
no
correspondence?
correspondence in favor or in opposition.
Do any members have any questions for the applicant?
Do you have any idea how the size of the septic system?
Size-wise?
Yep.
Roughly.
Roughly 30 by 80?
Yes. I know it spans majority of the whole property line. It almost goes from shed to about 15 feet off the line. I think I just had somebody show me the plans recently. And I know it goes to the trees towards the center of the property as well. There's a map, I can kind of point it out if that helps.
Would it help if I brought it up on the GIS, sir?
Yeah. that'd-
Give me 1 second. It comes on, I got your GIS ready. I had it working before. Where is the button? There it is. Show me GIS, okay. Do you want me to move my mouse over?
I could kind of describe it. So that's where the kind of a pre-existing fence was towards right underneath 28.
Okay,
So it's actually probably exactly right where that lettering is.
okay.
Then
Going like this or like this?
it goes down to the right.
So like this way?
Nope, towards the house more.
Oh, okay, like
Yeah,
this.
so it's like a diagonal from the AC towards the property line to the right, towards
Okay.
the back shed, or the back deck, I'm sorry. Yeah, and it is probably about
Comes
80
over
or
to-
90 feet, yes, sir. It goes on an angle like that,
Okay,
and then it goes parallel with the house and the deck.
all right, so like that, but 90 feet roughly coming up from where that 8 is?
Yeah,
And this way.
I
And
know
it'll
it's
go
hard for
like
me to
this.
describe, so yeah, it goes like an angle this way, and then it goes straight.
Okay.
So it's like an obtuse.
And beyond that, what was proposed fence there, what's back there?
The fence isn't there anymore. What's back there is just land. Yeah, it's kind of a steep drop. Well,
And that's all part of your property?
yes, sir.
What are the two other structures that are next
Those
to
are
this?
pre-existing sheds.
Okay,
Yeah.
they were there when you
Yeah,
bought
they were
that
there.
property? Okay.
Yeah, so that was there, and like I said, that L right there, that's the slab. So that's roughly 16 by 23. Give or take.
Is it a small tractor or something? I saw over there. You got something?
Yes, yeah, the lawnmower there.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a
That,
lawn- okay.
yeah, it's a lawnmower.
That's what the shed's for.
Yes. That's why I don't know why that was there, but I was like, I guess I could try and make it look decent and put something on top of it. Because it's kind of just broken concrete. So I figured I'd make it look a little nicer.
So, the GIS, I just want to verify it's, the width of your property is about like 135-ish?
Yes.
It's very narrow. Very,
Yeah, so
very
that's why
long
the
property
50 feet
for-
would get me right in the center of the property
Yeah, so it's
for the shed.
it's a bit narrow for the expected setbacks for what would be normally an R80 property. It would normally be a lot wider. Okay.
But he's got the depth,
He does, yeah, well, he has depth, but,
he's got plenty of depth.
I mean, if you need a 50-foot on each side, that really
We'll
only
put it in the
makes it
middle, right in
small.
the backyard.
That's fair.
Any further questions?
Mr. Briggs, I'm sorry, I have a bad name.
Oh, sure.
So I
No, for the record,
consider-
Commissioner Briggs is here this evening.
Thank you,
We're
Mr.
still in the
Briggs.
public hearing process.
Yeah.
Any follow-up questions on it?
I'm good.
Mr. Hillen, any follow-up
No,
questions?
sir,
on it?
I'm good, I got a chance to see it.
Any follow-up questions on
So let me understand, the shed,
There's two sheds on the
There's two
property right
sheds.
now.
Those
That's
are-
what those two blue are. And then
okay,
there's a concrete slab where that L is where the mouse is right now, which is, then, like you said, pre-existing. So he wants to put the shed on that concrete slab as it exists now.
and the remaining, the existing ones are still gonna be there?
Yeah, I wasn't
Okay.
gonna tear them down or anything.
Anything else?
Yeah, I
Okay,
don't
all
know.
right,
Yeah.
okay.
Any other questions, Madam Secretary?
And the property does slope, so where that pre-existing fence was, it kind of goes downhill after that. So,
I have a couple of questions for you, sir.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you very much for allowing me to go out there and look at the property. So I did check with the zoning enforcement officer. I had a feeling it was, but your lot is a pre-existing non-conforming lot. It's an R80 zone. You have 78,408 square feet, give or take. So technically, the lot itself is a pre-existing non-conforming. What was the size of that shed again, sir?
I believe it was 16 by 12. if I'm not
16 by
mistaken.
12. And your proposal was to bring it, basically put it on that slab
Yes,
that
sir.
was out there. I drew a little map of your property. So I'm just gonna have you come forward and just verify a couple of things. So as I went out and looked at the property, I looked at that existing slab there. I don't know, it's 50-plus years old. There was stone in it and concrete and
Yes,
cement and
it was
stuff
all
like that.
broken.
Yeah, that is it's to the right, or towards the main Wiskinger Road of that. So you wanted to set it on the existing one right there.
Yes.
This is tree lines and stuff here that I saw. I did some rough measurements from roughly where the border was, which I think was the rock wall. There wasn't any pins. in it.
Yeah, there's
Just
the rock
tape.
wall, and then it came to the fence, and then it came to the slab.
Right. Question, is it possible, and you tell me, and this is kind of going to what Commissioner Rushmeyer's question was, is it possible to have a little bit more centered, I don't know the use or anything of the garage, but maybe have it a little bit closer to off the driveway or back in this area? I know you have the septic that's out over in here that you just went over, starting like from the 28 and going down. But just throwing the idea out, is it possible to locate it somewhere in here and it would be, maybe it's a 20-foot variance or something? if you
Yeah,
had to
so
look at it.
unfortunately, right where the corner is, where your mouse is exactly,
Yeah,
there's a pipe that comes out of the ground that gets rid of water. I'm not sure if it comes from the,
drainage?
sub pump underneath. And then
Okay.
if you go on the opposite side of the fence, if you scroll down a little bit, that's where drainage comes out as well. So I have two water lines that actually dump into that area, which
Okay.
makes it wet.
Okay,
So I think that would not be too good for the shed if it just starts pouring water on it, because it does it year round.
I got you.
That's why I think it comes from the sub pump downstairs.
I got it. One thing I didn't notice about this is these are here, they were pre-existing non-conformings. Another thing that I noticed is, I did a little checking, and there was one other prior variance on your property. You're aware of it, right? I think in 1 second, and I have it. May 5th, May 3rd, 2021, application Z2153. There was a variance, you had a pre-existing guest house, I guess?
Yes, it's the top right there.
Okay, and they turned it into an apartment,
Correct.
right? And the hardships on that were health and safety and to put it a little bit more into conformity. Does that sound familiar?
I
I
think
watched
so,
the
yes.
meeting. Okay. All right, so you do have one variance existing already on the property. So you don't think it's possible to get it a little bit off that borderline
Not
there?
without hitting the wetland or the septic field that's there.
No place over there. Okay. That was pretty much the questions.
There's no wetlands, it's just
Oh, I'm
wet
sorry.
because of the discharge.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Do you have any questions, Commissioner?
Well, you may have covered this before I came in, so that line,
He has an
Shows the-
existing kind of a slab foundation, slab and stone foundation right here, where he wants to put it, right about where that mouse is.
This line, what does that represent?
Fence that is kind of there but not there, only half of it's there.
And the wetland area is,
Well, there's no
Well, where it
wetland.
discharges, he's correct.
Oh,
It's
you're
not
talking about where it
wetland.
discharges is back off in
Yeah, that
like
whole
this
corner
area?
basically.
right there.
Like where this L is in this corner?
Yes, sir. On the inside of the L and the outside is where the drainage for the house and the something.
So I'm not clear, what would be in the way of moving it more centrally in the property?
Well, he has septic from this 28 here. Do you want to explain that one more time? sir?
Yeah, so
So-
from, almost from the 28 on a
Right.
diagonal towards the back deck.
Oh,
It's a
okay.
weird angle.
You said it was 80, 90 feet?
Yeah, at least.
Running across this way.
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
it comes up and then you said there's
Yeah.
Yeah,
there's
'cause-
septic fields like back in here or something?
Yes, sir.
How many bedrooms is the property?
So so my house is 4, and then they counted the guest one, so it's a 5-bedroom septic, 5 or 6. I'd have to look. At
So anything that's back over here might possibly be used as a reserve if you ever had to add on. If the
Correct.
fields are here, does that make sense there? He's gonna need
They're
something.
they're big fields, that's why I asked the
Yeah.
question
Yeah,
about
those
that.
are big fields.
Was it probably a designated reserve area?
Well, if he's got fields there already and he ever needs to add on to it, I don't think he's gonna go closer to the house. He probably would go this
Yeah.
way. I'm not a septic expert, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I was just thinking, okay, I mean, I know you have this here, it's useful, you already have the foundation there, I understand that part of it, sir. I'm just trying to bring in a little bit more.
What about on the inside of the other shed?
They're pretty close
Here?
together.
Or-
I mean, this way,
Oh, like over here?
yeah,
Like in front of the shed?
yeah, I mean, if there were, yeah.
You'd be blocking the front of those existing sheds.
Yeah, I wouldn't
that's
do,
what
yeah.
Yeah, I think, aren't the doors like on this side?
Yeah, they're on this side and it's
Right.
pretty
Yeah, the
tight
doors are on
together.
that side. I was just, I don't know, to try to get a little bit more in, and over here, and maybe it's 20 feet he needs and not 40.
Mhm.
But that was my question.
And then, again, the issue with further down your property is.
So that's more of a hill, it kind of,
You wouldn't happen to know what grade it is, would you?
no, unfortunately not.
Yeah,
So
but-
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, so towards the top of the property,
Mm.
it's more of a consistent hill, and then towards the center, it's more of a drop off. And then I do know where the green is. I wouldn't consider it wetlands, but it does get very damp back there.
Look at staff there.
Yeah.
Yeah, your property's almost, it's a hair under 2 football fields. It's like, you're looking
Mm.
at football fields, but there is some slopage back over there. I didn't give it that much
part.
attention. Yeah, back
Yeah.
over here. This was relatively
That was
kind of
relatively
flat
flat.
to me.
It's right after that second shed is when it kind of starts to go down.
Right about here and then,
Yes, sir.
You could set 2 piers on the backside of the shed and let the front of the shed open and be at the top of the slope. And that would be perfectly fine.
are you talking, like here?
If you're saying that the backyard slopes off,
Yeah.
then put the door of the shed at the top of the slope, put 2 piers on the backside of the shed, and let the back of the shed be off the ground.
Oh,
And
you
you're-
letter
and you're-
treat it?
And you think it's split the difference on the 135 or
You could put it
whatever
right
it
in the
was?
middle and you wouldn't need a variance.
Yeah, right.
You put it right here.
That's right.
Do any other members have any other questions?
The existing ones, do you have equipment in there?
We do. Yes. So there's actually a bunch of just lawn tools and things like that. Just everyday stuff.
That's good. Well, that's a good shed.
Yeah. So I think it's less than 200 square feet. I think that's what it was.
What is the condition of this slab you want to put the shed on? Is it like?
It's rough. It's very like jagged and like,
So.
that's why I kind of want to cover it.
But it's fair, I remember it being fairly level, although it
Yes, it was
had dirt,
level,
had dirt and
yeah.
weeds on it.
Right, but it's
It was
not like.
fairly level.
It's not like practically, when they
No, no.
redo this.
No, it
slab,
wouldn't have to get
you would
redone.
just
It's
sit
built
it
right on top of it. Yes, sir.
Okay.
So that the proposed shed would fit on that
Yes, it would fit right on
It's
it.
right about there. See this mouse is? That's the
Yeah.
edge when it comes over. I think I measured that.
Yeah. So I think you measured
That
6.
slab is 16 by 23, so I took my depth measure out. It's 16 depth by 23 long. And it's pretty much a rectangle. And I have dirt and weeds and stuff on it, but I could see the boulders, I could see the concrete. It's there. There was some other structure at one time on it.
But you could argue there's already a non-conforming structure.
There's something there already. Do you have any other questions for that? Any other questions on this? At this time, I'm going to ask if there's anybody here that would like to speak in favor of the application. Hearing none, at this time I'm going to ask if there's anybody here that would like to speak in opposition to this application. Hearing none. Sir, do you have the final remarks that you'd like to say?
I would really appreciate putting a spot, only if it's there. I would just like to cover it up, otherwise I would kind of have really no use for that slab. It would really help out.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. This time I'd like to take a motion to close the public hearing on Z-23-65. Do I have a second? Second. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right. Next application, and Commissioner Briggs, is application Z-23-70, and that is the Ryan Robinis residence, and that's a request for variance 3.4.alpha.3.b. That is an accessory structure to the front yard. Could the applicant, or proponent of the applicant, please come forward, state your name and address for the record, and tell us about your appeal in detail.
Absolutely. Ryan Venus, 1 Darkland Road Drive.
Welcome to the zoning board of appeals, sir.
Thank you. I was before the zoning board of appeals in September to put a pool in my, well, we consider it my front yard because I have 2 front yards based on this style of my property. And that was granted. So what I'm trying to do, and I didn't know at the time, but my wife would like to add a pool house, small pool house, because we don't want to have kids walking through the house with wet feet. So we're looking to put a structure, and if we put the structure, trying to figure out, and we're going to work with Mr. Lally here to try to put it in the backyard, but with the septic back there and the variance, and I have and there's a conservation easement. There's just really no area to put it. Plus, it wouldn't be near the pool, so it'd kind of be counterintuitive to put a pool house away from the pool. So that's basically what I'm looking to do.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. Thank you. Secretary, did we get any?
I have
last
no,
one?
I have no.
I didn't see
Molly?
that.
There's not.
Okay. All right. Just note for the record, the last application that the variance for the pool was Z-23-46, and that was at the September meeting. Okay, do any commissioners have any questions for the applicant?
What was the hardship?
So 2 front yards. Because I'm on Dark Angelo's 1 front yard, and Merlin Brook Road is the other front yard. So to put the pool or anything in the backyard wouldn't work because of the setbacks plus the septic and the conservation easement. On the west side of the property, my driveway and my well is there. So there's really not a spot. So that's why I got approved the first time. And I'm just looking to add a building this time. It's a smaller structure.
Any other commissioners have questions for the applicant?
What's the size that you're looking for?
So it's going to be, I can show you the plans. It's going to be 16 by 10 is going to be the closed piece. And then there's going to be like a overhang so the kids can be underneath. It'll be 10 by 16 as well. So 20 by 16.
And then the reason this wasn't on the first application is just the Didn't know that your wife wanted it, or you forgot
It was
that.
that, and also after, once we put it in, EJ was handling it, and then they're not doing the full house, so I said, oh, I'll have to go in and have to do it after, so, but yeah, it was after we put in the whole application the first time.
Okay.
So the total footprint is 20 by 16?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. I have, it's easier to pull it up on the app, but is it okay if I pull the property up on Google Earth? So-
Absolutely.
Okay. All right, and I drew a map like I always do. Thank you very much for allowing me to go out to your house.
Thank you for coming.
First thing I want to do, if I could, is just review the map. Come on forward. And I happen to pull my map from the old one because I already had my notes on it, so I just kind of added to it. So the septic fields are over here. Yeah,
Basins are handled.
yeah, the L-shaped pool's there, the driveway goes up over there, and it's not a great drawing. This little box I drew in there is roughly where the pool house is supposed to be. Okay. On the front side of the property, or on the driveway part, if you look at the Google Earth, it's kind of like a common drive. That's your house right there, right, sir?
Yes, this is.
Okay, so this is a common drive, but you have a driveway easement that's on this side
Yes,
right
sir.
here, right? And then this whole back side of your property, that's a conservation easement?
Yes, sir.
All right, and you have two front yards, obviously, because Merwin Brook and Dark Angelo. The septic fields, right, there's the house. Can you point it out on the Google Earth for me, sir?
The septic field?
Yeah, there it is. The house is there.
Right.
Okay. All right, I got that. I think that's pretty much it for my questions. It was just on really what the hardships were. Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Do you have any, does anyone have any questions? Any other questions? Do you have any other questions?
I just find this map a little convoluted, but
Does this one make sense? That's his pool, and then that little square is the shed. You should have drawn it right on the drawing. So there's the pool, and then the shed he's proposing is right there. And that's his separate fields and stuff, if that makes sense.
okay, thank you.
Any questions, sir?
Nope.
Okay.
I think it looks very nice,
Thank you.
the plan.
Oh, yeah,
the pool
thank you.
house.
Thank you.
I tried to pull it up on the Google Earth on this, but your road is not on the Google Earth on that, but I could find it on the app. It's weird.
Yeah, sometimes.
That's
it's
why I
hard to
had to
get
pull
the
it up on that.
Google Earth things.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Aaron.
At this time, I'd like to ask if there's anyone here that would like to speak in favor of this application. Hearing none. At this time, I'd like to ask if there's anyone here that would like to speak in opposition to this application. Please come forward, sir, state your name and address for the record.
Scott Montenegro, 62 Merwin Brook Road.
Welcome to the
First
zoning
of all,
board
I
of
haven't
appeals.
ever met you before since you moved in, so I'm your next door neighbor.
Nice to meet you.
So,
Welcome to the zoning board of
yeah.
appeals, sir.
thank you. So, I like that Ryan has done a lot of amazing things with his property. He's maintaining it like the previous owners did. But there are a numerous amount of issues that now are becoming an amalgam of issues as this complex has started to build slowly. I knew that he was going to build a pool, or at least have the foresight to build a pool. I had invited his stone contractors over to my house to give me a couple of estimates for work myself. Two fairly young gentlemen seemed to know what they were talking about. I didn't go with them because their estimate was crazy, so I'm sorry about that. But what I found since this all began was the first phase was a woodshed that sits, a massive woodshed. I don't know the dimensions because I haven't inquired. It's so large that one, it gives me a little bit of privacy, which is not a bad thing, but it's so big that the first thing I thought of is, does it require a permit? Does it require town approval? And I learned more just sitting here listening to this gentleman's, his proposal to the town. So that was phase one. Phase two was literally a wall of firewood that is shocking to me. I would assume it's shocking to the D'Arcangelos who about his property in back. Moving forward, the reason why I asked for the stonemasons to come visit, because I needed some stonework, and I wanted to do some more stone in the front of my house and on the side and the back.
Mind if I interrupt you real quick? Which house is yours, sir?
62 Merlin
Could
Road.
you point it out on here for me?
Yeah. So I'm here.
Okay, right, kind of behind. So,
Yeah, so this is the cul-de-sac, this is Ryan, this is me.
You wanna
And
bring
this,
it up on
this is
right
the,
hand? Man, the
the
problem
green
is,
belt.
I can try to bring it up on the big
So-
screen.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll try to pull it, keep going. So,
Yeah,
your
please.
address one more time?
62 Merlin
Merlin,
Road.
okay, you got it, I'll pull it up right now.
When I asked what the gentlemen were building, they told me they were building a fairly massive outdoor fireplace that is, I don't know the measurements, right, but I'm assuming 2 stories at least high. And I thought, is there a permit required to build such a massive fireplace structure? It's beautiful from a distance, so, but my problem with the fireplace is that smoke, when it's being used, enters my house. Not a major issue. I see the complexity of what you're trying to build, and especially with a young family and everything else, so I'm all for that. I raised my son here, I get it, and I appreciate that. The fireplace is billowing smoke into my house, and I'm being told other neighbors are having issues with this as well. We live at a higher elevation in town. Most people, when they drive up Merwin Brook Road, they don't really understand how high the elevation is actually there. When you're looking across Lillanona, we're looking at the ridge from my house of the Maywood Estate in Bridgewater. So it's quite high. But we have a weird vortex of wind. And as I've shared, you know, trying to clear leaves off my property is a nightmare.
That's your house right there, sir.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it is.
I can try to bring it up on Google Earth. too,
No,
but
no,
if
no,
you-
that's perfectly fine. So that's structure you have your mouse on now. The pointer is my garage with a room above, and then the main house, and my patio is the half room in the back.
And here's the retention stress right there.
Right, so, right on the green belt, that was, I guess, given to the town when Mr. D'Arcangelo was looking to create this multi-family compound, if you will. It never really turned out to be exactly like that, but close. That's the last time I ever came to one of these meetings. It's many years ago. Fast forward, going back to the situation, the shed, is there a zoning rule, a regulation for setback? How close to a border something can be?
Yes, sir. Yeah, if the zoning enforcement officer was here, we'd go over it exactly.
So, my question is to all of you and to Ryan indirectly, is there in lieu of building this whole compound of
It's already,
entertainment
it's gotta be 50.
for the family, which is, again, great, but,
You're R80, sir? That's R80 right there?
yeah.
So that's 50 feet.
So that sits, if I'm correct, there's maybe 10 or 12 feet that divides my property line and that shed. That shed sits right on the tree line.
Okay. Regulation 3.5 and R80 is 50 feet, sir.
Okay,
Left and
so-
right side.
I don't know, I never received a letter to say, hey, by the way, your next door neighbor's building a very big woodshed. I didn't see it. Behind that woodshed, since it was built, again, Ryan, I don't mean to offend you in any way, but it's become storage for garbage. It's ladders, it's stuff that's been, I have photographs of it, Ryan, from day one, it's there. If you want me to help you, I can help you with that. Again, this is nothing personal. But that is now the fuel, the great wall of wood in the back fuels the woodshed, which fuels the fireplace, which is billowing smoke into my house. Now, I have a fireplace in my master bedroom, I have a fireplace in my living room. It smells like the fireplaces are beyond burning or backing up. That's how smoky my house gets. I waited, I didn't want to say anything, I was trying to figure out, I don't want conflict. It's not my style, but now that I saw the pool come in, had I known there was a pool house being put in, I would have come to that meeting. I didn't object. I got the letter appropriately from Nee James. I actually refused it because I didn't know why Nee James was sending me a certified letter. It made no sense to me, and I was running out to go to New York.
You mean the original pool? This is for the pool
The
house.
original pool. So, and quite honestly, I thought if he's building a pool, that's a good thing, especially when you have children. I didn't build one because, and I tried, I had estimates. I didn't do it when my son was little because I wasn't around enough to even maintain the damn thing. So, had I known there was going to be now another structure, I would have been at that meeting. I think I would have had a different viewpoint.
Are you saying, I'm sorry, what, another structure, are you talking about?
The pool house now,
The pool
that
house.
is an afterthought, in my opinion, should have been raised. You're building a pretty large pool, which the machinery, this giant crane is still out there. The hammering of rock going on for weeks. Didn't really bother me, to be honest, except when I'm on the phone for a meeting, or my wife is. But you live there, he's welcome to do it. I know he was building a pool. But at a certain point, you got a fireplace, you got wood sheds that are sitting on the border. You got a fireplace not just coming into my house. If you walked in my house when that outdoor fireplace is on, you would swear that we have a fire going with crosswinds that's billowing down. And it's actually on some days, we've smelled it on the second floor, which is where all the 4 bedrooms are. So it's an amalgam of this whole project that's becoming overly complex in my opinion, overly developed. And do you have to put in a fireplace with zoning regulations? Does the chimney have to be X amount of feet tall?
When the house was built, as far as I know, they have to have permits and has to be
No, no, no.
inspected.
No, the fireplace is
Outdoor
built
Oh, you're talking
after,
about the outdoor
after
fire pit.
Ryan moved in. No, actually, I think the previous owner, the Hookers, I remember them extending their main chimney inside the house because of the weird winds. We put on, I forgot the name of the caps that we put on ours that actually close with a, cable, just to make sure there's no crosswind or anything like that. But, yeah, I'm opposed to it, because it's an impact to me. I will say one other thing. Since that pool went in my opinion, something has changed with the drainage. Because during the recent heavy rain that we've had, my property is flooded. I know the kind of rock that he has under that house, because that foundation was, from what I remember them telling me, it was a nightmare to be installed. It was a challenge to build. So now I've got a drainage issue. I mean, there was ponding in my property. So, and I don't know geologically what the odds of that happening. Some of the rain we've had since that pool went in has been a little bit crazy, you can all admit. But I'm here, close to 25 years, and I've not seen that. So, having said that, I think we have a lot of complex issues with this entire project, because it's been done piece by piece. I know when the fireplace went in, his masons had told me, yeah, he's gonna be building patios and a pool, and it was meaningless to me at the time. But the fireplace, the woodshed, it's becoming a problem. I think smoke coming into somebody's house, again, I'm not a doctor, I do other things for a living, but is that a health hazard to me or my neighbors? I know I'm not the first person to complain. So, I don't know what the structure looks like that Ryan's trying to build. Maybe he can share that with me, I don't know.
Do you mind if I ask you a follow-up question, sir?
Yeah.
Have you brought any of your questions or concerns to the attention of the CEO, Mr. Lawler?
No. I spoke with him today to find out if the meeting was still gonna happen. And he said yes. And I asked him, do you need permits or are there setback rules? He said yes. He doesn't recall seeing a permit for the woodshed, nor does he recall seeing one for the outdoor fireplace. He was aware of smoke affecting other residents. And mentioned the health department as well. So, but other than that, you know, listen, I live here a long time. You know, I'm all for people having a happy family life. I certainly have one. My son is out of the house now, as you and I discussed when I came in to say hello. But yeah, I think this is becoming a seriously complex project. And again, I have a level of appreciation, but you know, it depends. Also, do we know where the mechanicals are for the pool?
I'm sorry?
The mechanicals?
It's
for
on
the
the plans.
Questions have to be through the chair, sir.
Okay, so I don't even know where the mechanicals are. Because that's also an issue of noise. If there's gonna be more outdoor activity, more fireplace activity. So, you know, I don't know if there's anybody else who's not in favor, but I felt compelled to raise my voice.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Do any members have any follow-up questions for Mr. Nagel?
No, no question, just to clarify, I guess, that our sole task at the moment is to address the pool house.
Mhm.
These other questions are important, and I guess we're not in a position to say or know whether there are permits for the shed or for the fireplace, which would be a separate consideration.
Yeah,
So,
I just consider it to be part of the whole development of this pool complex, and
Yes,
that's
sir.
the reason why I raised it.
Mhm.
Only because some of the issues are issues. I mean, there's, you know, I can appreciate having all these nice things, but if they're affecting me, they're affecting me. So,
Thank you, sir.
my pleasure.
Thank you very much.
Oh, of course.
Thank you very much. Mr. Reganis, would you like to respond, sir?
I would. The first thing I'd like to mention is one of my neighbors had told me there was positive correspondence. Did you not receive that today? Okay.
A brand new correspondence, I don't, Madam Secretary, I didn't get anything last minute. We did not get anything last minute, so.
Okay. Secondly, I don't think, I wish gentlemen came to me to talk to me about some of the things. I can clean the items beyond the shed up. The shed, I can show you on the map, is well beyond 50 feet. And the chimney is, there's no need for a permit for an outdoor chimney. I've used the chimney 3 times this year. I do have a wood burning insert in my, and I burn constantly. If that's a problem, I'm sorry, but that's within my rule, my rights to burn a wood burning insert. I have a permit on town with that, and I burn that constantly. That might be the smoke that you're having in your house, but I don't, you know, unfortunately, with my kids in sports and stuff, I've really only used the outdoor chimney maybe 3 or 4 times this year. It hasn't been a lot. The reason why the chimney is so tall is because of that reason, right? So we wanted to make sure if people had windows open, it would go above the roof line. So that's the reason why it's tall.
And the wind sometimes can be tricky in that
Yeah,
area.
of course. Of course, and I understand that, but it meets the chimney and the patio, the stone patio meet all the setbacks. You know, there's not a need for a permit from what I understand from my contractors. So.
Thank you very much.
May I?
Absolutely, sir. Just
Yeah.
state your name and address again for the record. And then
62 Merwin Brook Road, Montanero is the name.
Mr. Montanaro. Yes, sir.
You have a 50-foot setback for the shed
That's
from the
regu-
board?
Well, that's the regulation.
Your questions need to be to the chair, not.
Yeah, no,
Yes, sir.
there's a 50-foot I
Yeah,
think it should be mentioned.
regulation 3-5 in R80 is a 50-foot side yard and rear yard.
So the wood you're
And
asking if
front
there
yard.
is one. The
Oh,
wood
you're
shed,
asking
we-
if there
we
is
don't
one?
know.
That's a question for the zoning enforcement officer, so.
Okay. So, yeah, it can't be, if it's sitting on the border of the trees, can't be 50 feet. 'Cause he's not into my property is not part of the greenway.
Yeah, that is something I would bring to the attention of the zoning enforcement officer, Mr. Lally, so.
Okay.
That's really something that's not before us here today, but
Okay.
I would bring that to his attention, so.
Yeah, I'll speak to him tomorrow, maybe just a quick measurement. If it's within spec, it's within spec, but I can't imagine it is, because I can see where the tags are, where the town marked the greenway.
Thank you, sir.
They've been in for a very long time since the project opened. Additionally, is he the person to, is Fran the person to ask about the outdoor fireplace zoning, the applications for permits or not?
Yes, sir, he is the zoning enforcement officer, he is the man to ask.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
perfect. Perfect, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, my pleasure.
At this time, I'm gonna ask if there's anyone else that would like to speak in opposition. You have to do that before. Hearing none. Mr. Rodenis, you have the final closing remarks, sir.
Yes, thank you. So I just want to make sure that, this kind of got off task. This isn't a compound. I moved in, I like to maintain my property. I will clean behind that shed. If there's a problem with the shed, there was a shed there, there was an existing structure was there before, the previous owner was there. There is, I have firewood on my property. Many people in town have firewood on their property. It abuts the Dark Angels, there's no problems. Some of them sent a letter of support on that last time. I just want this to be focused on what I am doing. It's the pool house. It's not the fireplace. It's not this. These are the first times I'm hearing of complaints. I've never once had a complaint from any of my neighbors. This is the first time I've heard it. Now this gentleman here was opposed to the development going up, from what I understand, and I understand it. You don't want people to develop their property, but when they own their property within zoning regs, you should be granted with them. Now this is a variance, obviously. There's a hardship here. I think it should be considered based on the facts and not the facts of other things that I've had going on in the property.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Anyone else have any questions?
Sorry, one other thing.
Sure.
Is there a way to track? Because my neighbor just said he just sent something to the Miss Curran in support.
Amy?
Yeah.
Ms. Curran?
Yeah.
To check Amy right now?
No, he sent it today. He said so.
Yeah, she didn't send it.
She didn't send it.
We would have received it if Ms. Curran would have sent it to me, and I would have printed it out, and I would have read it.
It was one of the same gentlemen that supported last time.
Yeah.
So.
Do you have a copy of the letter, sir?
I don't.
Oh, you don't? If you had it, the secretary would read it into the record right now, but we'll take that into account that there is we believe you, sir.
Can I have an email sent to me and give me a minute or short recess? Does that work? Or I don't know if it matters. I'm sorry, I don't mean to make this complex.
It's okay. I think we're all right. We trust your word, sir. It's on its way and it's going to Amy's office, we believe. Any further questions? Mr. Restaurant, any questions?
Nope.
All right. This time, I would like to take a motion to close the public hearing on Z-23-70, Land Business Residence.
So,
Do I have a second? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Okay. All right, so what we're gonna do now is we're gonna go into closed deliberations. We kind of speak amongst ourselves, welcome to stay, and raise up. All right. I'd like to take a motion to approve application Z-23-65 Dominic Perez, Friends Residence, that's request for variance 3-5, 40-foot structure to the right sideline, and that is a 3-foot shed. So do I have a second? Discussion.
Given the size of the lot, the pre-existing non-conforming two sheds that are there, and the concrete slab is already existing, combined with the septic.
Possible reserving right out there for that, if he ever has to.
Based on what I read out there, it makes sense to me to affect, especially with pre-existing non-conforming lot to begin with. There's already, the concrete slab is already there, we're just adding something on top of it. And when I was looking, there's no, the neighbors aren't gonna, suffer for,
View or
view
anything
or
like
anything
that.
like that,
Yeah, he has some tree line there.
Right, yeah.
Like that.
Yeah, you can't even throw, like we were saying, you can't even throw a football to the neighbors from that
Yeah.
side.
Yeah, forget it.
So for me, I'm good with it,
The hardships on it, good.
yes.
Mr. Rushmeyer.
Yeah, I think that to continue in the vein of giving a non-conforming, those were pre-existing structures. I just don't, there's plenty of room on the property to put the shed. There's no reason the shed couldn't be put with 0 setbacks. So from that position, I don't see any need to even grant the variance.
Would it help if I brought it back up on the GIS?
No. I can see it from the map we have, but
I definitely agree with Larry in that there's not really a need for a variance. That it does seem like there are options to place the shed that are
There's
within
other
the setbacks.
possible locations.
But, I mean, I will admit there are, in fact, some hardships because the property is very oddly shaped, and I mean, to his credit, there already is a there already is a slab there, so it is just putting a shed on an existing slab, and there is a hardship, a valid hardship, because the property is too narrow for what an R80 should be. An R80 should be at least 200 feet wide, not 130.
You would think so,
But-
yeah, it's skinny, the piece of property.
But there is, there is a spot, it isn't so narrow that you can't put a shed, and there is a spot to put it. So I don't know.
The variance goes with the property, not the
Right.
people.
Mm-hmm.
So what he does with the shed is one thing, when the next person moves in and what they do to the shed, that's a whole nother thing, and it's on the property line. So,
I couldn't agree with you. Yeah.
Yeah, I could have gone either way on this. I understand what Commissioner Rushmeyer said. I believe that there are some other locations that you can get it either back towards the middle of the property and not need any variance at all, or another location somewhere over towards the front of the house, and maybe it's a 15 or 20-foot variance and not a 40-foot variance. I think it's possible to have another location. I understand the lot is a pre-existing non-conforming. I understand that there's basically an old slab there now, probably had an old shed or something like that on it before. So I tend to agree with Commissioner Rushmeyer. You have any other?
Good to vote.
No, everybody ready to vote?
Mhm.
Ready to vote? Okay. All right. Let's get it. All those in favor of approving Z-23-65, that's Dominic Friends Residence, and that is for a 40-foot variance, regulation 3.5, a shed in the yard, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay.
Nay.
Okay, the motion fails, 4 to 1.
1 to 4.
1 to 4. 1 to 4. 1 to 4. Thank you very much, sir. Have a good evening.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
Can I do anything with that
We're in
slab?
deliberations. I would speak to Mr. Lawley after the meeting, sir. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, have a good evening. All right. Next one. All right. I'd like to take a motion to approve Z-23-70, that's the Ryan Rodenis residence, and that is for a variance for a, located in the front yard, and that is for a pool house, and that is 3.4.alpha.3.b.
So moved?
Do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion.
This isn't relevant necessarily, but there seems to be an error in this. The required dimensions here say 30 feet, and it's actually 50
It's
feet.
good.
So, but the proposed dimensions don't impinge on that in any case, so I guess,
The big one is the front yard,
yeah,
right? 3.4 alpha 3B.
right.
I don't have a problem with this one either. There's,
The hardships, you see them?
yeah, I mean, again, it's very similar to the same hardships that we gave for the pool. There's really not anywhere else, that I saw.
2 front yards, the 2 easements, the septic.
Right. You know, it's just, again, another one of those unfortunate lots that has two front yards. And then, on the back side of the house where the driveway is, I don't even think there's, even if you wanted to put it there, I don't think there's room based on what I saw.
Yeah, 'cause the playground, I think, and stuff is up there,
yeah,
right? It's
there's a
tiered.
ledge there, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, but also, it doesn't make any sense to put it anywhere else because it's connected to the pool.
It's the
So
pool.
it's a little bit like we're in for a dime, in for a dollar. I mean, we've already agreed to the pool idea, and the pool house is really kind of an extension of that and makes the use of the pool probably better, safer. So it seems to me a little hard to argue against the pool house having, approved the variance for the pool.
I concur.
I mean, in this instance, I think it's okay because it does seem like a genuine oversight or mistake. I actually think, in general terms, there already being an approval for a pool, there kind of almost goes against it because it kind of almost seems like, well, you gave me this, can you also give me this? And since you gave me that, can you also give me this? And I don't want in February to have another variance saying, now that I have the pool house, can I now?
I forgot this.
In this case, it seems like it
Yeah.
seems genuine, but if, I don't want to see something like that become habitual or
Well, we don't
abused.
also want to get into the interpersonal dynamics within the family, so. Yeah,
Right, but that's, right,
you know.
but that's, I don't think just because we approved your pool house is
Yeah,
a reason
no, I
to
agree.
approve more. And then I know there's some other grievances that neighbors have with the property, but
Need to be taken up with the CEO.
yeah, they're their own situations. The pool house being approved or disapproved doesn't help with the smoke
The
or help
smoke.
with if the what is it, the shed is within setbacks. Those are things that will need
Avoid
to
as
be
too
handled.
close, yeah.
Those are things that are gonna need to be handled on their own, and I don't think that they help with this one way or the other.
I
Yeah,
concur.
true.
Madam Secretary.
I am finding myself a little biased at this point, and I'm not looking at the reality that we are here to give a variance or not give a variance. I wish I didn't hear about the smoke, because I think that would bother me. I'm being very personal about it. I mean, the pool house was an afterthought. I mean, I really can't see where the hardship is. I mean, is it a small lot? I'm not able to,
Well, the heart,
I'm not,
The two-
like, I think
the two
finding
front
this,
wa-
like,
front
so,
yards.
another map that I'm finding, the lack of clarity in where it is and what it is and the boundaries of the other, houses. Why didn't we get any, I mean, if neighbors were complaining to Mr. Lawley about the smoke, if, I don't know what is it, like a pit that he has? I don't even know what he has. Is it a pit that the logs go in and that's where this smoke is going over to the neighbors?
Well, that doesn't have anything to do with.
yeah, I thought.
No, I know that, but what I'm saying is, I'm being a little biased, I've admitted it. So
Yeah,
I think I'm gonna abstain from this, I'm
Yeah,
not going to,
the problem is, we're not in a position to, evaluate the validity of the complaints. They may all be perfectly valid or maybe not, and so, yeah, I agree that the picture painted is, gives some concern, and I think that Mr. Lally is the person with whom that should be pursued, but if we stay just within a particular issue of the pool, it seems to me a reasonable request. As Carl said, we don't want to have multiple requests just on the back end for one approval, but this one seems reasonable to me. And they do, I mean, it does have this two front lawn,
That's what I was just gonna go over now.
problem in the property, so it really just constricts you as far as what you can do.
Yeah, I was just gonna go over it real quick, for my own brain as well, but, the property itself does have, two front yards. It has Merwin Brook and it has D'Arcangelo, so he has two front yards, which is a hardship on the property. There's two easements on the property. There's a common driveway easement on one side of his property, and then this whole back area is a conservation easement, so he's squeezed in that way. And then he has the septic system over here, on the property. So I definitely see multiple hardships on the house, and that's how I see it. I don't have an issue with it at all. Okay. Is everybody ready to vote?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All those in favor to approve Z-23-70, that's the Ryan McGinnis residence, 1 D'Arcangelo Drive. And that is for a pool house, which is located in the front yard, which is 3.4.alpha.3B. Say aye. Aye. Those opposed, say nay. Nay. The application is approved 4-1. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, sir. Good evening. Have a good evening. Okay, old business, there's none. New business, there's none. All right. Oh, yeah. New business, there's some. 2024, election of officers. Let's jump right in, starting with chairman. I'll take, anybody wanna chime in?
I nominate.
Thank you, everybody.
Have a good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Thank you for your time earlier.
Yeah, I'll take a nomination for chairman for the 2024 election of officers.
I nominate Alan.
All right,
I'm sorry, I can't hear all the way back there.
I said I nominate Alan.
Do I have a second?
I nominate, who do I nominate? This guy.
Carl.
Mr. Hinkle?
Oh,
Okay, and do we have a second?
Can I second myself?
Am I voting in this?
No, it's
No,
just
I
regular
think it's just
members.
regular members.
Yeah, unfortunately.
I guess you could, he can second himself, right?
You only have a
yes.
vote.
Yeah, you can
Sure,
second.
absolutely. Okay, discussion.
Well, I have a lot to say, if I may. Is this an open for those that are here?
Yeah, well, they can hear, they can't speak.
All right,
Liam's gonna be here starting next month.
Yeah, he's gonna be.
I am
on.
finding that the amount of time has to be limited at this point. I'm also finding that you are the only one, Mr. Chairman, that goes out to see the properties. I believe I took a course where they said we should all be going at one time and not saying anything. Am I correct?
No, I'm just saying I went to both properties.
Oh, okay, well.
And I
the
also go to.
Okay, but you're not saying it, it's always
I
the
can't say it.
chairman. Okay, well then Elijah, all right, or Mr. Briggs, or whomever. I think that if we should all go out to see the property, we should all go as a team, but we can't speak. I mean, I think that's one of the, in the training that I heard. It's not one person only going. And we should all go and look at the property, schedule it, and that's it. I have a couple of other issues that I won't disclose, but I think that it's time for a change. And even me, step down as secretary. Maybe someone else would like to do it. And I think Carl would make a very, very good chairman for our next session. And I guess that's all I have to say.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yes.
Well, I wouldn't have a problem with either Alan or Carl being the chairperson. I think Carl did a fine job when he was before, and I think Alan has done a great job. I don't know, Carl, if you would even want to be chairman. That's a whole other.
I accept the nomination. I'd be comfortable
Yeah,
stepping back.
okay, well, that's good. You know, I think, as I say, both of them have done a very good job. So it's uncomfortable to try to compare, given that, I guess, you know, I think, I would say I certainly support Alan's re-election. I think generally, you know, Alan does an extremely thorough job and, you know, doesn't spare any energy or effort to look into the particular applications and the various regulations that might bear on those applications. You know, sometimes you can get a little, you know,
I tried to trim down the questions a little bit.
and sometimes you can get a little dug in, but, you know, we all have our own ways of doing things, so that doesn't particularly trouble me as far as that goes. So it would really be just based on, you know, the obvious work you do and the effort you put into it. And also, I think to me, the prevailing goal here is to try to accommodate what people want if we can accommodate it within the terms of the zoning regulations. And I think that's, you know, what you try to do. So, so that would be my view.
For me, I nominated Alan, and I'll be supporting Alan just because, you know, I've been on the ZBA as an alternate for a while. And Alan is definitely long-winded and has his drawings and things like that, but he's extremely thorough. Just like tonight, he's looking up cases of when they had a variance and things like that, which is even a step above previous chairman before, you know, any of us were actually seated on here. So that's impressed me enough to give him my vote.
You want to vote?
Sure.
Okay. All those in favor of me being chairman, say aye.
Aye.
All those, I guess that's it.
Well, you can vote, I guess.
All those in favor of Carl being chairman, say aye.
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 Okay, it's 3-2.
Congratulations.
Thank you, sir. All right. Nominations for vice chairman. I'm gonna nominate Carl, because I think he's been doing a great job. I'll nominate Carl.
I'll accept the nomination.
Okay. Do we have a second?
I'll second, I'll third it.
All right. Do we have any other nominations for vice chairman?
I might nominate Elijah if you would. But
I would second that, we'll bring it to a vote if you want. Okay. All right, by acclamation, you're vice chairman, Mr. Vice Chairman.
Okay,
Okay.
Okay.
well, that's a radical change.
I'd like to nominate Mr. Richard Briggs as secretary.
I would have to decline, but thank you for the nomination.
No problem.
Janet, do you not want to be secretary?
No, I do not.
Okay.
I'd like to nominate Mr. Elijah Hewlin for secretary.
Okay.
He's okay with it.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay. Do we have any other nominations for secretary? Okay, congratulations, Mr. Chairman.
You're voted in by acclaim.
Yes, sir. You are our secretary, thank you very much.
So, Mr. Lally, is that the plans?
All
I didn't look
right,
at the
table
plans for these
items,
ones.
informal discussion, review and discussion of possible amendments to, this is when we wanted to wait on till the new members were here, and
Yeah.
we discussed, and Larry, you were here. If anybody has any problems with the new calendar, foresee any problems with the new
I
calendar.
can't foresee a problem. I can foresee all the
I
way to
mean,
December
yeah, we were all okay with it.
2024.
There's nothing on July like 5th, right?
It's July
Did you-
first.
How could you do
July-
that?
it's-
Or, no, July.
July 17th.
No, that's the
Oh,
cutoff date.
July-
First.
July 1st. At least it's before July 4th.
I will not be here then.
You're not gonna be here on that one?
Most likely not, but that shouldn't alter the calendar now.
Okay. How about you, Elijah?
As far as I know, it will be.
All right,
I mean, it's that far out yet.
New calendar looks pretty good to you?
I mean, barring life,
Yeah, it's always that.
Of course.
Okay, that sounds good. So the new calendar stands.
Yep.
That's good. All right, last informal discussion, commissioner training. Commissioner Hurley, I heard you did some training, sir.
I saw you all over it.
I'm not gonna mention anything else, but whoever needs to work on it can work on it. I think we have some time. Mr. Lawley's gotta look up exactly
I
when,
can check with that, yeah, with the
when
land use
exactly you have to have
director.
it done by.
Yeah.
We're not sure.
thought it was the end of this month.
But we're not sure if that's, for,
We're not sure
you
if
know,
it changes
brand
now
new
that he's
elected
been
members, if they have
elected.
until technically next December, we don't know, or is it due now?
Yeah, I think because there were alternates that had to be completed too.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, is there any other informal discussion? Any other informal discussion? All right, I will take a motion to close.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor to adjourn?